What's up, guys? Today we are covering a question that we've seen a lot online and a question that we've actually gotten a couple times too. So we thought we'd do the research, learn what other people are doing, and then make a video about it. So this is more of an educational video for people within real estate trying to help facilitate sales and wholesale a property. So what is wholesaling? Wholesaling real estate is facilitating an off-market sale. So instead of the traditional on-market sale where there's a buyer, a seller, and a realtor, they put it on the market and they take bids and they try and sell it that way. This is the other end of the spectrum. It's off-market, so there's a seller, a buyer, and a wholesaler. They're the middle person in between, and they help facilitate the sale for a fee between the seller and the buyer. So today we'll cover what that's like, and how to do it in the state of California and how to wholesale real estate. Why do people wholesale real estate? Especially in 2023, approaching 2024, it seems like people are looking for this more. Sellers are looking for quicker sales. They're getting tired of paying realtors 5 or 6% commission. They don't want to fix up their house, clean their house, the slew of benefits that happen if they just sell off the market and have a wholesaler facilitate the sale. There's a lot of benefits that come with that. So it seems like sellers are becoming more interested in that, just for the speed, the ease, and the convenience. So today we're going to cover how to wholesale a house in the state of California. Step 1, build a buyer's list. You cannot wholesale a property unless you have N buyers to connect the dots. So again, you have a seller, they're interested in selling their house. You do need an N buyer to then facilitate the sale and have a small fee within the middle of that. So build the buyer's list. How do you do that? Lots of different ways. Best 2 ways that we've researched and heard that other people do that have worked well. Step 1, look up in your county or in your city cash transactions and cash sales within the past, say, 18 months, year and a half, and pull that list of all the cash transactions within the past year and a half in your market. Make sure that you have a filter on that data pull that shows 100% equity because you want them to be buying the whole thing in cash. And it's safe to assume, not always, but a lot of the times, if it's a cash transaction, and especially in California, if they're paying a high price and they're buying a property straight up in cash, there's a good chance it's an investor, and they will want more off-market properties from wholesalers. So that's a good place to start. Other place is just to connect with people on Facebook. A lot of different Facebook groups in California, in different markets like San Diego, Los Angeles, the Bay Area, where you can find other wholesalers, realtors, buyers, everything. So those 2 places is where I would start with building a buyer's list when trying to wholesale in California. Number 2, choose a marketing strategy. So why do you need to market? You need to find people who want to sell their house. We've tried lots of different marketing channels when we buy houses from people. Some work, some don't. Some are expensive, some are cheap, some are slow, some are fast. But you need to find one that aligns with your style, your sales style, your lifestyle, your budget. And once you find one that aligns with a lot of those things within your life, it usually ends up being a decent fit. We used to cold call when we would reach out to sellers, and that sucked. It worked, but it also was pretty hard because not everyone wants to get a random phone call from a random person that they didn't ask to call them, which makes sense. So now we try other different ways, other ways of marketing. There's inbound and there's outbound. We can make a whole video on that, but choose a marketing channel, whether it's direct mail, cold call, texting, email, door knocking, driving for dollars, PPC, SEO, TV, radio. There's 10. We've tried most of those, but right now I'd say sellers find us mostly online, which has been pretty good. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to create a system around this. So you don't, after you start or after you choose a marketing channel, you want to be able to handle when people either call you or when you call them, and you want to track all that stuff. Organization is key when running your business, when trying to wholesale a house, when trying to buy a house, flip a house, whatever. If you're trying to generate leads online as a real estate professional, it's important to keep that all organized and run that through a system so you know where to find it. So if Jane Smith calls you and then says, hey, I want to sell, but it's not in 2 months, not for 2 months, what are you going to do? You're going to write a sticky note? You're going to set a reminder, have Siri set a reminder on your phone for 2 months? Those things can work, but over time it gets a little jumbly. So we suggest for anyone trying to do anything in real estate, whether you're a realtor, flipper, wholesaler, whatever, get a CRM. Podio is a pretty common one in real estate that is cheap. There's even a free version of it that is okay, but the paid version is not that expensive and pretty good. So you can do it. You can use something like that just to get you started, and then as you grow your business and it gets more robust, you have more money to spend on your systems each month. Then you can consider expanding to something like Salesforce or there's a slew of other CRMs. But anyway, manage your data, and that will bring you through to a more prosperous path of trying to wholesale real estate in California. Step 4, start marketing. So you can't just choose the marketing channel, you have to deploy that marketing channel. But first, now you have your system, right? So you can handle the leads, and then you start that channel. You start it up, whether it's inbound or outbound, TV, radio, cold calling. Some elicit responses faster than others. Like PPC, you kind of have to wait for people to click your ad. Whereas cold calling, you can talk to people today if you want to get started. So lots of different ways to do it again, but you do have to start that train before you can hop on it and then get to your destination, which is your goal, wholesaling a house, right? So that's step number 4. Step number 5 is talk to the people and work the leads. So find out what problems they're dealing with. Again, people go to wholesalers for lots of different reasons. It's oftentimes because maybe they inherited a property and they just don't know what to do with it. Their family, there's a ton of stuff in there and they don't know what to do with it. They don't want to clean it out, fix it up, and then try and put it on the market and wait, a couple of months potentially before it sells. They just want something that's easy, that's private, that's relaxed, that's quick. So that's a common reason. Fire damage, it's a really unique property. Not every fire damaged, burnt property is really meant to be put on the market. I mean, you could, but it's really like, who's going to take that on? Who's going to be the buyer for that? Usually not a family who's trying to move in with their dog, their lizard, their bird, their cockatoo. It's going to be someone who is an investor who's trying to fix it up. So oftentimes that's just better to do off market. So again, lots of different reasons why people come to wholesalers and seek an off market transaction versus an on market transaction. But you do have to just talk to these people and figure out their problems and see how you can help. That's really what you're trying to do as a wholesaler, is be solutions based and help solve their problems. So talk to them, help them out, connect the dots, do what you got to do. That was step 5, work the leads. Step 6, looks like a turkey. Step 6, you assign the contracts to the end buyer. So once you work the lead, talk to the seller, figure out their problem, their timeline, their price, whatever their needs are, you figure all that stuff out, and then you disposition it to your buyers list that you built already. So you let all your buyers know, hey, here's a seller, they're ready to sell, here's the price, the situation, the timeline, the condition of the house. It might need a full gut renovation, it might need this, might need that. There might be a squatter involved. There might be a tax lien on it that needs to get handled at closing. Lots of different things that can come up, but this is when you connect the dots. So you see which out of your buyers are interested in this property, connect the dots, make it quick, make it easy. And typical wholesale transaction can happen anywhere between 14 and 21 days, I'd say, is like pretty common in California. So again, sellers are attracted to this route because they don't have to wait months to sell their house on the market. It's pretty quick, it's pretty easy. They're not having an open house with tons of people trouncing through. It's convenient and it's simple, which is why people like it. And then the step 7 is just close the deal. So you talk to your buyer, you make sure everything's aligned with them, sign documents with them saying, hey, they're going to buy it at this price, and then set up closing. In between then, you should have the title report back. You review that with your seller, make sure everything's spick and spam, handle any title issues that you have, and then choose a closing date and close the sale. And that's how you wholesale real estate in California in 2024.